Well, welcome to the Clar8ty Weekly Update. I'm Clar8ty Cowgirl. Tonight, I'd like to introduce our VP of Product Development from Brisbane, Australia, Mr. Chris Neville. Chris has over 25 years' experience in the wellness, advertising, and direct sales industry. Chris has led Clar8ty to the cutting-edge science of nutrigenomics with our flagship product, Calibrate. A wealth of knowledge and a great educator in the field of nutrition, I'm happy to present Chris Neville, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Chris has to teach us tonight. Here's Chris. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Charlotte, and it's great to be on the call once more, and certainly to anybody that's tuning in for the first time, welcome. You know, this evening's going to be pretty special as far as I'm concerned because we've got a guest that I think incredibly highly of, and I'd like to introduce not only her to you, but also to explore, you know, her journey, and her journey was cancer. And Dr. Veronique Desaulniers, better known as Dr. V, she's actually maintained a successful practice in the field of wellness since 1979. And because of a passion for health and wellness, she undertook extensive studies in fields of energy medicine, specializing in chiropractic, bioenergetics, meridian stress analysis, homeopathy, and digital thermography. She brings a unique approach to health and wellness. And after 30 years in practice, she decided to retire and devote her time to sharing her personal and non-toxic journey from or with breast cancer, and want to be able to explore what she's been able to create in terms of a coaching program. But her book, Heal Breast Cancer Naturally, has been a bestseller on Amazon, and it's an absolute treat and a pleasure to welcome you, Dr. V. So welcome to the call.
Thank you so much, Chris. I'm looking forward to speaking to you and your audience as well.
Thank you so much. Well, Dr. V, look, I guess this evening I'd really want to be able to share more about the work you do, and also your great love and appreciation for nutrigenomics. But maybe just starting back, if you could maybe share a little bit about your professional background and sort of what tracked you into this arena.
Well, really, my journey started when I was 16, when I was first introduced to chiropractic. It was one of those light bulb moments, and I knew at that moment that I wanted to bring wellness to the world. And so I did a lot of studying and graduated from Life College in 77 and opened up my practice in 79, and I was ready to take on the world, so to speak. But then in 1983, my father was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he was basically given no hope and sent home to die, which he did in about 6 weeks. And I remember during that time the anguish and the frustration and the not knowing what to do. So 1983, no internet, so I started calling different cancer clinics, natural cancer clinics, and did some research at the library, and I realized things that my father could have done to reverse his health, but unfortunately for him it was too late. So I started applying a lot of these principles in my practice and literally was attracting people from all over North America and was seeing amazing results with everything from MS to lupus to cancer, all kinds of autoimmune diseases turning around. 1993, my mother's diagnosed with breast cancer, and she decides to have a lumpectomy and radiation to the point where her breast was red hot and blistered till the day she died. But she didn't want to do chemo, so she came south and came to see her daughter, Dr. V, and applied the anti-cancer protocols that I was using at the time, and she never had a problem with breast cancer again. But then in 2004, when I was rushing to work and jumped in the shower, I felt a lump in my left breast, and I knew right away that it was not a benign cyst. I just innately knew that it wasn't a healthy situation. And so that began my journey, and I recognized that, I was Dr. V helping the world, but I found myself with cancer.
So that, obviously, with having such a disciplined and a conscious lifestyle is what I would refer to it as, where you're you're doing what would perceive to be as all the right things, the best you could in terms of a natural approach to life. But it must have been a shock to you, for yourself to at least recognize that you had this condition.
It was a huge shock and a huge wake-up call for me because, why would somebody like me develop breast cancer? I was doing everything right, so I thought. I ate organic before organic was in style. I was under chiropractic care. I exercised. I had home births. I breastfed all my children. I was eating the right foods. But I realized that there were some pieces of the puzzles that I was missing because the more I did some soul searching, the more research I did, I realized that there were definitely some pieces of the puzzle that I had missed, and that was one of the reasons that I created my program called the 7 Essentials, because it really takes you step by step and looks at all the pieces of the puzzle that fit together.
And just leading straight into that, because obviously what you've developed with the 7 Essentials is a tried and tested method with your own personal experience, and that's got to be obviously a really powerful posture. So to be able to help so many, as much as it afflicts many women, I think it's also that ripple effect within family units and with friends and those sort of things. It must be hugely difficult, obviously, for anybody who's got a friend or a loved one that's been afflicted. How's been your experience with that?
Oh, it's huge. We know that cancer statistics are staggering. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women are destined to develop cancer in their lifetime. 1 in 8 women are destined to develop some form of breast cancer in their lifetime. And so the ripple effect is huge, and that's why I do what I do now, because if I can help one woman to reverse her health or to go through her journey with dignity and less pain and more comfort, that has such a huge impact on her children, her spouse, their families, their community. And we're seeing thousands and thousands of people around the globe that are reversing their health. They're taking responsibility for their health and applying principles that have been around for thousands of years.
So that's incredibly empowering. I see that where you're able to have a platform of education, and to me it's about having somebody take responsibility for their own position in time and space as far as their health and well-being is concerned. But tell us a little bit about the book you wrote, the Heal Breast Cancer Naturally. Well,
I'm really, really proud of the book. It's is a #1 bestseller on Amazon in 6 different categories, and it's really accumulation of 35 years of my professional work as a bioenergetic chiropractor and my work in the wellness industry and my research, and also my own personal healing journey, not just the physical aspect, but also the emotional aspect and the transformation that one goes through when they go through a healing journey. And I'm really proud of the fact that there's over 500 references to published studies, because people must know that natural medicine and nutrigenomics and epigenetics is based on science and fact. And these studies show us the power of nutrition and food and the effects that it has on our body. And so when I was going through my healing journey, for example, I did a lot of juicing and cleansing and homeopathics, herbal tinctures, and different enzyme-specific herbs, and all those things were a result, led me to the result where I was able to reverse my health and heal breast cancer naturally without any type of toxic therapies.
And that is not only an exciting realization, but certainly as an experience. What I understand is that, sometimes it's not so much what you eat, but what's eating you. And so that relationship between, our life experiences and our emotional body and our feelings, sometimes, sitting on or suppressing some of those life experiences show up in forms of disease. So that must have been an interesting journey for yourself tied in with that.
Absolutely. And, I love Dr. Lisa Raikin. She's got a great quote. She wrote the book Mind Over Medicine, and she says, when you go through a tough time in your life, you either grow or you grow a tumor. So It's a matter of really taking your emotional life and all aspects of your life and going through a transformation, because if you keep doing the things you've always done, you're going to get the same results. And so that's what I tell my clients all over the world. And, we're all the same, whether we live in Australia or Saudi Arabia or North America. Cancer is cancer. And if you don't change what brought you to that place in the first, brought you to the place where you developed cancer, then no matter how many products and how many things you do, you may not have very good success in healing, because it has to be a whole body, not just physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual as well.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled about, really a holistic approach. And, no pill powder is going to, help anybody if they continue to do the thing that's, let's say, detracting from life itself, whether it be, as much as cigarette smoking or any other habit that's scientifically shown to develop, health issues. And for me, I recognize the fact that disease is not something necessarily that we catch, but something that we create over time. And so those lifestyle habits are really incredible. So maybe could you share a little bit about the coaching platform that you've developed, with Breast Cancer Conqueror?
Well, when I quote-unquote retired from my practice in 2010, I just started sharing my story. A lot of my friends and family said, you really have a big story here. You should really start helping women and teaching and seeing where that takes you. And so here I am, 4 years later, and I've literally, I've coached women in 12 countries. I talked to women all over the world. I've had millions of hits on my website, and just came to realize that no matter where we live on this planet, we're all facing the same issues, the toxicity from the environment, the stress in our life, the emotional issues, the family issues, they're all the same. And so the website that I've created, breastcancerconqueror.com, is really a resource for thousands and thousands of women around the world. I can't tell you how many emails that I get every week, and it's so heartwarming to see how women are turning their lives around. And I feel so blessed and privileged to actually be able to work one-on-one with these women, either through Skype or phone or emails. It's really heartwarming to see the changes that are happening.
Yeah, I'm just so thrilled for the work that you're doing, because apart from being able to have that personal connection with somebody and to be able to truly empathize with, all of the underlying things to the condition that exists, in this instance, breast cancer, but to recognize that there are so many layers to the journey, from, the mental, emotional, physical and spiritual aspect of things, and tying that all together. I think that most people, are looking for the silver bullet and the pill, and to have something that is really tying together those 7 essentials that, you tie together so beautifully, is really empowering. I'm curious with regard to the nutritional approach specifically. Nutrigenomics, I know that that's played an important part in your journey, but also your key interest as well at the moment. So can you share a little bit about how the science of nutrigenomics came into your world and the impact that it's had?
Absolutely. That was really a giant leap for me personally, as well as for my patients, because I was no longer looking for that superfood with the highest ORAC score. I came to understand that the body is really put together in a very unique way, and I came to understand more about the detoxification process and how the immune system actually works. And a big step for me was realizing that we're not victims of our genes, and that our DNA is not our destiny. We really have a large measure of control over our gene expression by the foods we eat, our lifestyle, how we manage our stress, our sleep patterns. Even our thoughts can affect our genes. They've done many studies that have shown that negative, angry thoughts will actually shorten the telomeres and cause the DNA to tighten and to shorten, versus thoughts that are very happy and full of love and joy has the complete opposite effect. I also came to understand how specific nutritional compounds in foods actually talk to our genes there's little switches, little literal switches on our genes that can be turned off or on as a result of our lifestyle. And when the proper genes are switched on, they'll produce the primary antioxidants and detoxification enzymes inside our own cells. So we're not trying to stuff all these antioxidants into our body, but we're stimulating what our body does best. And when these primary antioxidants like SOD and catalase and the glutathione peroxidase are stimulated, they're a million times more effective than the secondary antioxidants like the superfruits and all the antioxidants that we think of.
And that's, really, my area of passion as well. So I'm just thrilled because, when you consider all of the other realms of information that people are subjected to as far as, nutritional products, there seems to be just the next and the next and the next product that's out claiming to do something. And, I'm just curious, where do you see the importance of nutrigenomics? And this is obviously a new science and very, very exciting at that, but where do you see the importance of science of nutrigenomics as a kind of a foundation for, say, preventative health and general health?
It's extremely important because we know that at the root of all disease, whether it's cancer or cardiovascular problems or digestive issues, even neurological problems, the underlying cause is inflammation. And what causes inflammation? Accumulation of toxicity and stress, bad food choices, not enough sleep, angry thoughts. And when we put all these factors together and how they're affecting our body, our healthy genes are asleep. They're overburdened, and many of the helpful switches are turned off, and the inflammatory genes are turned on. However, if your primary antioxidants are being stimulated with nutrigenomic foods and your healthy genes are being turned back on, then the inflammatory process is stopped dead in its tracks, and dis-ease can no longer take effect in the body.
Fabulous. So, obviously you're an advocate for Calibrate, which Clar8ty just recently introduced, and certainly for the kids as well. What do you like about the product? What was the thing that really captured your attention about the product?
Well, I'm constantly researching for the best products for myself, for my patients, so I'm always trying to stay on top of the latest and the greatest. And the first thing that really caught my eye with Calibrate was the broccoli sprout blend. I'm a huge advocate for broccoli sprouts and breast cancer and have been for years because of the effect of sulforaphane like breast cancer. I mean, there's hundreds of studies that have shown that sulforaphane activates over 200 genes in our body that are required for cellular defense, and it literally inhibits the growth of breast cancer cells, suppresses the growth and the spread of breast cancer. It enhances your natural killer cells and your immune function. So broccoli sprouts are very important for me, and especially bioavailable and enzymatically active sprouts. But not all broccoli sprouts are created equal. There's a lot of junk out there. But when I saw this formula, it's very, very potent, many times more than other formulas that I've seen and tested out there. The other key for me was the patented formula of the enzyme SOD, superoxide dismutase. What I love about it is that it's microencapsulated. Again, so many formulas out there are junk because they sit in the stomach and they get digested. But this particular patented formula is encapsulated so that it reaches the intestine and it's not dissolved in the stomach, so it can be utilized by the body much more effectively. I've also recommended chaga for years because it's a medicinal mushroom that is 50 times higher in SOD than any other medicinal mushroom, and it has many, many anti-cancer properties. So those were really three key ingredients that really caught my eye.
Fantastic. So who do you think benefits from a product like that? Who do you think could benefit?
Everybody can benefit. Absolutely everyone on this planet. We live in a toxic, stressed out world. Our bodies are overloaded. it's always working hard to try and detoxify and keep up with the toxic overload. But what Calibrate does is it turns on those healthy genes so that our primary antioxidants can clean and protect our cells and prevent that oxidative stress that eventually leads to inflammation, that leads to disease. And one thing I'm really impressed about, Chris, is the fact that there's a children's formula. Children in this day and age are in such dire need of supportive nutrition like this. I mean, it's so heartbreaking when we see children suffering from chronic debilitating diseases, like cancer. I mean, we've all seen those commercials. It's heartbreaking. But, just think of the impact that something like this could have on children who may not be getting the best nutritional food at home, or who may be stressed because of all the demands on them through school or their parents or whatever. But this can really help support children in so many ways.
Yeah, it's been a hugely, satisfying thing for me to know that we've got not only the children's formulation, but the results that are coming back. It's just so incredibly encouraging. And I guess, in reflection, as I was growing up as a kid, once upon a time, takeout or some of the fast foods that are now franchised today, that used to be a treat. And, the idea of having, a treat should have just been that, a treat. And that could have been, once a month or a couple of times a month at the very most. And yet some people are actually having takeout or some fast food every single day. So it's almost like we've moved away from those basic principles. And this is just sort of a great and convenient way to at least start the process. But I also recognize that we have, the lifestyle that we need to incorporate, better habits. And I'm just really thrilled to know that there's a platform that people can go through to get some sound information, like the breastcancerconqueror.com site, your book. And if hope is the only ingredient that it offered, I think it's a fabulous thing. Obviously, taking it a step further in implementing the wisdom and advice that's contained in there is certainly going to help somebody get on the road to better health. So, do you have any other parting thoughts or comments you might like to make?
Well, I do want to make a comment about the taste. Now, there's some other amazing products in Calibrate. I mean, there's the curcumin, the bioavailable curcumin, and again, not all curcumins are created equal. I love the bioperine, which is derived from black pepper, which enhances the absorption of our nutrients from the GI tract. The enzymes, the probiotics. But what I find amazing and absolutely incredible is the taste. If ever you've tasted broccoli sprouts or if you've tasted curcumin on its own, they're not very palatable. But somehow the formulation has come out to taste without any sugar, without any GMOs, vegan, gluten-free. It's the most delicious, nutritious drink I've literally ever tasted. And I'm just so proud and so amazed that, this is available to us on the market now. And it's such a potent formula. That's what I'm thrilled about. But, one thing that sometimes some of my most creative thoughts occur in the middle of the night, and I think I told Robin this. I woke up one night and I had this thought about a slogan or a theme for Calibrate and how we could really help people understand. And the thought was modern science meets ancient wisdom, because the products in Calibrate, many of them have been used in ancient medicines for thousands of years with so many benefits. But now we have the science to understand how and why these foods and these nutrients work. And I really believe that the future of medicine is in epigenetics and nutrigenomics, and I believe that Calibrate and Clar8ty and the other products that will come through this company will play a huge role in decreasing the effect of chronic inflammation and chronic degenerative diseases for people all around the world.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you as our guest today, Dr. V. I know there's probably going to be a myriad of questions. We might just open up the line a couple of quick questions, just as we you'd just like to introduce yourself firstly and where you're calling from and ask the question. It'd be great.
Any questions? You may need to press *6. Don't be shy.
Hi, this is Clar8ty Cowgirl. I just wanted to make a comment. Thank you both, Chris and Dr. V. That was so educational and lots of information. Just thank you both for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome. Totally enjoyed it.
Pleasure. Thanks.
This is Mary Lou Venable, and I want to say it was probably the best I've ever heard anybody do with a product. You were absolutely fabulous, and I love your slogan, modern science meets ancient wisdom. That's the best I think I've ever heard. So,
okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thanks, Mary Lou.
You're welcome.
Well, if we don't have any questions for right now, we really just want to say a couple of things, and that is it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on the call. We hope that it at least piqued your interest to explore some more, and all we'd like to do is to invite you to try the product and to enjoy the benefits that it can provide you and your family, and certainly to get back to the person who brought you along to the call. We look forward to having you as part of our Clar8ty family, and if you've got any other questions, by all means, speak with the person who introduced you to the call or drop us an email at our customer support line. So thank you very much for joining us today and taking the time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks again, Dr. V. It's been great.
Thank you so much, Chris, and thanks so much, Dr. V.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.